Raised Rowdy.
Are we starting the pod now? Now we're podding. Yeah.
Are we podding?
Welcome to the Raised Rowdy podcast. My name is Nicky T.
That's a great way to
Ozan.
start.
Yeah, why not? Let's just start.
I mean, I would say like innovation-wise, 10, maybe a 12.
Yeah.
As far as like guitar player from then to 2024,
Yeah.
personally, I'm gonna get killed, but I'd give him like maybe like a 7.
7.
Personally.
I like it. Hey.
Because he's amazing and he invented a lot of really
things.
great things.
Yeah.
So here's the lineage. Hendrix invented rock and roll guitar or made it cool or whatever. And then Stevie Ray Vaughan was like, I'm going to be like that, but I want to do my blues thing.
Yeah.
And then John Mayer was like,
Yep.
damn, Stevie Ray Vaughan is super good. I'm going to be like him, but I'm going to do it more pop.
Yep.
And then now we have Alex Hall here.
Yeah.
And that's how.
I stole from all of them.
Yeah.
Yes, right?
Well, Kurt steals from him too. Don't worry.
Don't we all, though? Don't we all?
I
That's how
don't,
it
but
goes.
I don't play guitar. That's why. So. Yeah.
How would you, if you don't play guitar, then how would you rank him?
Man, I think like if you're talking about legendary guitar players, he's a 10, right?
Yes.
But I think some of that's probably because he passed away too soon.
That's
you know?
fair. Absolutely.
So it's hard to compare him against someone that has maybe like a 30-year career.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah.
I remember when I turned 28, I was like, I guess I'm not that good.
Oh man, I for sure thought I was in the 27 club. Like I was certain that's where I was going to be. And then
I mean, I had some
Thank
moments
God.
where I was like about to be in the 24 club.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've
Nashville will
been
do
there.
that to you.
Yeah. I was going to say, I feel like I was
College.
like that in the 34 club, you know? It is a town of excess, that's for sure. But it's a fun town.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's not too bad.
No.
That's a good way to start a podcast, though. You know, jumping right in on Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, we brought him to the studio. He had to be in here, you know?
That's cool. I don't know where you find that, but I need to find me one of those.
He
Little Jimmy.
is.
From the internet, probably.
Yeah. I get most. It's a Funko. So it's like a
Oh, there you
Funko
go.
Pop, but cooler.
Cool. There you go.
Looks more like Jimmy.
It's like
So let's
some
dive into your
jacket
music
going on there.
since we're talking about guitar players.
Ta-da.
Obviously, you're a singer-songwriter, of course, but
Yeah.
you're ripping on guitar.
I do like the guitar. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. It's
Yeah.
fun.
So, what were your influences coming up?
Definitely, you know, I didn't set out to be a guitar player. That was never my my intention. I always loved singing and writing songs. I grew up primarily listening to country music, so you know, I was born in '94, so I definitely was on, you know, the tail end of when Vince Gill and all those folks were at their height, but they were still clearly lingering around on the radio for years to come. And so I would say definitely guitar-wise, it was like Vince Gill, Keith Urban, Brad Paisley. I grew up listening to a ton of Southern rock, like the Leonard Skinner stuff and Black Crowes and all of those bands and stuff. So, which I guess Black Crowes were a little later than that, but still, that's the world of guitar that I grew up in.
That's like a lot. That's a pretty good list.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah, super solid.
I didn't realize they were all playing guitar though. That was the thing, because I didn't want to be a guitar player. I remembered the melodies of their guitar part. So that was the thing of I think where it all came from. And so basically what happened is when I started playing in bars and playing shows, I was about 15 years old, and there were some guys around my hometown in North Georgia that played, and that was 2009, 2010. And that is when I hated John Mayer. I did not. I still don't love Room for Squares, but like that's what I thought John Mayer was. They showed me Where the Light Is or whatever, the live record
in L.A.
at the Nokia Theater, you know.
Yeah. So
And that's where I learned to play lead guitar. Like I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And it just hit me right at the time where like I'd have a 3-hour cover gig and the guitar player would bail on me the day before the show, and so I had to figure it out. And so it was just this perfect storm of me like being obsessed with the guitar and writing songs and playing shows and all of the above, and then in comes John Mayer amongst then learning that Vince Gill and Keith and all these guys were playing guitar too. And I was like, okay, I can do all of this. So yeah.
I was listening to way worse music when I was 15.
I wasn't very cool though. I was not very cool. But yeah.
I was like Googling Limp Bizkit tabs on Ultimate Guitar or something.
Yeah. I mean, I was listening to Limp Bizkit when you were 15, but I was 20, so.
but also System of a Down for
Yeah.
sure.
Why did you leave the ketchup on the table is the
Yeah.
question.
See, I don't even know who that is.
Exactly.
That's-
See? No.
You don't know System of a Down?
I had no idea.
You'd
idea.
probably know a few of their songs if you
Okay.
heard. Yeah.
Chop Suey. Don't make me sing it right now. It's like, wake up. Da!
Why? Maybe not. See,
It's
listen,
been. I'll let
I
Ben
know who
play it
Limp
for you.
Bizkit is. I do know
Yeah.
who that is.
See,
I just like I had an older sister and stuff, and like everybody I went to high school with was listening to primarily nothing but hip hop and stuff, and I've never really loved it, and so yeah, it was not very cool, but that's just what I liked. Love the old stuff.
they're like rock and roll, but have a little bit of almost like a rap flow to some of their songs.
All right,
And they're
But-
Armenian.
Yeah,
Okay.
Armenian fellows.
all right. Sounds
Yeah.
like a good group.
Yeah, they're great. We'll have to make you listen to them at some point.
Yeah,
you know,
sounds
just
like
for for like knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, I will absolutely do it.
Produced by Rick Rubin. So
Oh, sick.
Yeah,
Okay,
music
well,
school.
that's cool. Yeah. All right.
Rick Rubin's crazy, but the best kind of
He is.
crazy.
Have y'all read his book?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm
listened
sure.
to it on
I've
the
started
internet.
listening to it a little bit too, but
Yeah.
I've read it, and man, it's amazing.
Yeah.
He seems wild, but also a genius. He's
Yeah.
he's like Music Yoda.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw some like meme on the internet. It was like Rick Rubin has opened the door for all the people that don't know how to play music to claim that they can be a producer or whatever.
I mean, honestly,
Yes.
that's kind of what I've gathered. I did just see that. I guess he's been working with Marcus King.
Yeah,
I saw
I
him
saw
post something.
that.
I was like stoked about that. 'cause,
Yeah.
I mean, Marcus.
That's
is
gonna
great.
crush.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Great guitar. Another great guitar player.
yeah.
Dude,
Monster guitar player.
Rips on guitar.
Yeah, monster.
And his vocals are
Also
Yeah,
incredible.
top tier,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's great. But I love the guitar. It's fun.
yeah, and
It
I
was
was
an accident.
doing my research for this, and it was like you were playing gigs and like working as a musician full time, like when you were 15.
Yeah. I did not want a job.
Same.
I didn't want to go to college.
Yeah.
I grew up riding horses and barrel racing most of my childhood, and so I did that my whole life, and I think it was natural that folks would sit around a horse trailer after a horse show or whatever and play guitar or whatever. But I was always exposed to country music and like folks just kind of sitting around picking, and I love to sing. And so, yeah, I had a chorus teacher in middle school that really like pushed me and saw some stuff in me and reached out to my parents and were like, hey, I think Alex has something special that I don't know what it is, but he needs to do something with music. And so, long story short, but there were a few folks in my small hometown in Gainesville, Georgia, and that happened to work in the music industry that somehow we got connected to, that connected me to this person and that person. And so, yeah, I was 15, came up here to Nashville, went to BMI, met with Leslie Roberts there, who's still my rep at BMI, and started getting some co-writes set up. And then they were like, well, you need to play shows. So we're like, okay, cool. How do we do that? So we just started, my parents and I'd go around and started at a Mexican restaurant for like $75 every Monday. And then that went to the bar downtown and then to the club that the regional folks came to, which then got me to Paradigm, which got me to WME. And then like, it was all of these just things. And my parents were just like incredibly supportive. I mean, so there was it was amazing.
Love that.
I mean, because there's not many folks that would allow, especially once I got 16, 17 years old, I would either just skip school entirely. I would miss a whole week of school to come to Nashville and write songs for a week or, whatever. So I almost got kicked out of high school, and I did drop out at one point, and I'd finished, but I dropped out because I was like, I missed so many days of school. They were going to kick me out or whatever, fail me. So I was like, cool, I'm out of here. So I left because I was doing like 125 shows a year my like junior year of high school, which was nuts.
Yeah,
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, it was nuts.
You're like, I'm gonna go to the school of hard knocks instead of regular school.
Basically, which I'm a parent now. I've got a 2.5-year-old, and I'm like, I'm thankful, that I have parents that allow me to do that. But also as a parent now, I'm like, it might have been good to go to school a little bit more. But I think it's working out. It's working out all right. But I went back. I did finish. But yeah, I did. I was working a lot on music stuff all through high school and stuff, and I wouldn't change it because again, that's where I learned to cut my teeth on guitar, and that's where I feel like I learned, how to put on a show by playing a 3-hour cover gig, trying to keep people's attention as a 16-year-old, So it's it's invaluable. It's great.
I feel like through shows like that, you learn like what kind of music, be it songs or be it like style of songs that kind of like keep a crowd or like bring them back.
For sure.
Is there any songs that you had in those like cover sets even that
man.
you knew you could get the crowd back?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they've changed, I'm sure,
Yeah.
since then. I don't do those kind of shows a whole lot anymore,
Right,
which
right.
I'm no offense to them, but I'm thankful that
Oh,
I'm not.
absolutely.
But I mean, at the time, it was like "Country Girl Shake It For Me" every time would get the crowd going because it was the biggest song in the world at the time, or name a Jason Aldean song. That was the cream of the crop at the radio at the time. So
Yeah.
And being from North Georgia, that stuff was that was just what everybody listened to. So it was my kind of party and all those songs. And and Brantley Gilbert was from the town next to me. So like before he even was cutting those songs, like I was covering those songs out at bars because people in North Georgia loved them already. So like was doing Dirt Road Anthem and stuff, which is hilarious because definitely does not fit my brand of music whatsoever.
Right.
But those were, man, you play those songs, it doesn't matter what's going on. There were bar fights that would break out. It was a crazy time to be a teenager.
Oh yeah.
But it was literally like Roadhouse half the time. But it is 16 years old. But yeah, it was pretty fun.
That's awesome.
But yeah, any of those, man, you go with the Luke Bryan or Jason Aldean song, Randy Houser song. I mean, any of those, they were killing it at the time. So
it's always interesting to me to hear like because again, like you've talked about your influences, but like you're playing that stuff that has to at least have some influence on you, either this is how I want to do it, or even maybe this is how I would do it different, kind of things.
I think so. I mean, one that, gosh, that's been so long ago now too that like I feel like so much of my entire life has shifted and changed, but it definitely influenced a lot that I was doing at the time. I mean, I put out some records, when I was living back home and stuff, and I think they're wiped from the existence. I hope. Yeah. But they definitely leaned a lot heavier on those big chunky guitars and those the Aldean kind of sound because it was just super popular and it's really funny. But I do believe like music is geographical depending on where you are, and in North Georgia at that time specifically, like with Corey Smith and Brantley Gilbert and all these folks were kind of coming through. It like the heavy grungy and you play with Luke, obviously it's still there, but there's more twang to it now, which is fun. But it definitely influenced it at the time. But I don't know. I think it's that era of country music. I feel like was still really putting on a great show too. Like that was part of it, and I do think that not that people aren't doing that still because they are, but like it was a lot of it high energy acts coming through at that time in country music. So I'm grateful for that because those were the songs I was covering and playing, so it's like I'm sure they influenced it a ton, but it's evolved through the years. Evolved through the years.
Well, speaking of records, why don't we talk about your most recent record, Side Effects of the Heart?
What do you want to talk about?
Well, why don't we talk about like the process of getting there? So I know you signed a record deal to get there. So why don't we just chat about that and then we'll get into the music?
Yeah, it's been a journey. I signed my record deal with Monument Records in 2019. And so it's been a few years, but it was supposed to all come out, in 2020 was the plan. And so I signed the record deal. Signed the record deal. Like 2 weeks later, was recording the first 5 songs. A month after that, put the first single out, and then I was out on the Tanya Tucker tour for her like comeback country record, which was it was awesome. And then go into 2020, supposed to be going to country radio for the first time, and all of the above, and then. I was on a plane to go to C2C to play. Never left the country before. I'm already nervous as hell, and COVID's already creeping in. And they literally shut the borders down when I was in the air from DC to go to Europe for that, and they shut it down. And so it was. It's been a journey making this record because like the first 4 songs that I recorded in 2019, 2 of those are still on this album that I wrote. We've re-recorded many times, but then like I wrote half of it in 2020, and then I made this 6 strings EP that I made during the pandemic with Vince Gill and John Osborne and those folks, which was amazing. But in the midst of all that, we were like keeping some songs back because we were like, these are going to be for the full record, and 6 strings was kind of stripped, and so it was almost like a 4.5 year journey of writing and recording and then re-recording and then rewriting and all of the above, and then finally getting to put it out last year, which was amazing. It was great, and we're still promoting it, still working the record and stuff, which is great. But it was just nice to finally have these songs that, I was out touring with Brandy Clark and Little Big Town and all these folks, and I've been playing these songs live for years. And people will be like, "Oh, I want to hear Women and Horses," or where can I find it? And it's like, "Oh, it's recorded, but it's not. You can't find it anywhere."
Yeah, it's such a good song, man.
Thank you very much. It's one of my favorites as well. But yeah, it's awesome. So it's finally out. It came out in September last year, and a lot of years in the making.
Yeah, I think this era that we're in country music has a big section of it, a big chunk that is like really meaningful, heartfelt songs, right?
Yeah.
I'm super glad. I think you're talking about guys like Vince Gill and folks like that. That era of sonic sound, but also more so just like the craft of the songwriting, I think is swinging back, which is super cool.
I think so. I hope you're right. I mean, I believe so too. I think there's folks like Zach Top out there that is killing it. Another great guitar player.
Yeah.
And man, he's incredible. And you know, Lainey Wilson's killing it. I mean, I think there's a lot of folks out there that have put the work in on the craft of it, but also have put the work in it on playing shows and building their craft, whether it's singing or playing an instrument or whatever. It's like, I think we're in a great time period for all of that.
Yeah.
The scary thing is, you know, the digital age of it doesn't necessarily always matter if you're the greatest guitar player or the best songwriter or whatever. Sometimes it's just how great you are at posting something, and that's fine too. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. But
yeah, times are changing for that, for sure.
Are changing. Yeah. But I hope you're right. I do hope you're right, because I feel like there's a lot of folks who want songs like that. I mean, I know I want it. Like, again, first time I don't even know Zach Top yet, but I'm sure we'll meet at some point. But like, first time I heard his songs, I was like, holy crap, man, this is like. And I think everybody feels that way, because it's refreshing. It's like this is the stuff that everybody loves about country music, and for some reason, it's nobody's making it, or was making it. I think a lot more people are now. But and so I think it's a good time.
It's swinging back around for that too. I remember when my buddy sent me a Zach Top TikTok, actually.
That's right.
Like, that's how I found him originally.
Because I just said that about it's true.
And but I found, like, I remember that, and then I was like, all right, Kurt, we got to get this guy on, and we had him on, I guess, right around a year ago.
Oh, cool.
For the first time, and it's really great to see him starting to get, you know, real traction, radio and everything, national acclaim. It's great.
Deserves it. Like, he's great. Like, it's like, that's the thing that's like I love so much is, and I know we all do in this town. It's like whether you know somebody, you don't know somebody, or whatever. It's like if they're talented and seem like a good human, like, you want them to win, and that's the beauty of Nashville, where I feel like a lot of other music cities don't work that way.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's awesome that he's talented, and he's. Same with Lainey. That's why everyone's so excited about it. Because she's awesome. She's a good human. She can write her ass off, sing her ass off. Mm-hmm. It's like people want that to win. It's great.
Absolutely, it's good for the genre.
It's great for the genre.
Yeah, the genre is. I mean, I think the biggest since I've been paying attention.
For sure.
It's just expanded so greatly.
And the cloud of the road country stuff is starting to go away. So now we can have these. Yeah. You know, here's the stars and the moon kind of stuff. Now,
I mean, which I love. It's great.
So
good. It's a good time.
And we can talk about, you know, and now we have songs like Horses and Her, you know, or all that stuff that you sang the other night.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Women and Horses.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I was thinking
Horses and Her is a good title too, though.
Well, I was thinking of how do we get from her to here?
Her to here.
And
that's
then I just combined the two.
Honestly, though, I might just go write that later. Horses to Her.
Hey, I need a third of that though, and so does Nick.
Yeah, I'm not good enough for a third, but you can at least get some guitar riffs from Kurt.
I'm sure. I've heard the dobro and stuff. I've seen it.
Appreciate it. Can you talk a little bit about that tune and who you wrote it with? I mean, you told the story when Nick and I went and saw you at the listening room, but
what a great show, by the way.
Thank you very much.
An amazing collection of folks too. Thank you. You had acquired to play with you.
I tried my best, and they're great. They were awesome. We just so everybody listening knows, it was May Estes, Cassie Ashton, and Ryan Larkins, which are all fantastic artists and writers as well. So thank you all for coming.
Of course, that's great.
Are you talking about Women and Horses? Is that the one? Yeah, it's a song. I grew up, again, like I said earlier, riding horses and rodeo and barrel racing and stuff most of my childhood, and I come from a very long line of cowboys back from like great grandparents on my mom's side, and so just grew up around that stuff. And I was riding with Brandy Clark for the first time. Again, was supposed to be touring with her, pandemic, and she was out in California. I was here. We were on a Zoom call. Had never met at all. I was a massive fan, and she does not really know a whole lot about horses or like really do a whole lot with horses. I had no idea that I grew up with them or anything, and I was about 2 months from getting married as well. So I was in this like really emotional, sensitive place and all the above. And I was trying to finish writing for what we were trying to get for the record and stuff. And she came in that morning and had been reading some book. I forgot what the book was called, but there was a line in there called that said something about women and horses ain't meant to be broken. And she was like, I just loved that. And I was telling her about where I grew up, and that's when she brought the title around. And so we wrote it. It was her idea. And we wrote it, like, honestly, I think we wrote it in like 30 minutes. That's awesome. Which is one of the, that's the magic when it happens that way. But it's just a true story for me. I was thinking a lot about getting married and my wife and just how that shaped me. And then I grew up with my mom and my sister both riding horses with me, and they're both very, very strong, independent, fiery-hearted, spirited women, and I've been through a lot with my family and my wife and all the above just through the years. And that song to me, I feel like was just a letter I was writing to them and to other folks of just being like, man, I know I wouldn't be who I am without these horses or these women that really did shape who I am as a person. And so that's really what the song was about. But it was happenstance. That's the beauty of co-writing, and that's why I love Nashville, is that Brandy, who does not know a whole lot about horses, I grew up with him, has this idea that maybe wouldn't have worked with whoever else might have been in the room that day, and it did for me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's one of my favorites that I've written.
Weren't you saying that she's actually afraid of horses?
I feel like she's told me that, which is hilarious because her spouse has many of them, which is really funny. But she doesn't ride really or anything. Yeah, which is funny. And she sang on the song too, so she's singing about it as well. So
yeah,
maybe one day I can talk her into getting on a horse with me or something.
Have you ever ridden a horse, Nick?
I don't think I have. No.
Really?
I've been around them extensively, but never ridden.
Never had the courage to just pop up on there?
No, I had friends that had horses, so I'm cool around them, and I like to pet a good horse,
Yeah, I like carrots. They like carrots.
Yeah.
I've definitely done the for my dad's birthday. My mom, my dad's got a lot of stuff. If he wants something, he just gets it. So buying him stuff for his birthday could be tough.
Yeah.
And so my mom always does these cool, unique experiences like concerts or riding in a prop jet, just
that's cool.
And so one year we all went horseback riding, and it was just so random. My dad is not a cowboy; he's a lot of things. But
where are you from again?
I'm from Florida.
Okay,
my dad was born in Istanbul.
Okay,
in the city, in Turkey. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And so we all went horseback riding, and it was so much fun. There's a stair thing that you walk up to get on. It's
that's
very
tour.
You know what I mean? It's a tourist thing.
You're not throwing the leg over the stirrup and climbing up on there.
Yeah. But it was cool. I got up to a gallop and it was fun.
It's amazing. I mean, I don't have any horses at the moment just because real estate in Nashville.
Yeah.
Working on it.
I was gonna say we should come over and invite ourselves over to ride some horses.
Well, when the time comes that I can buy the place with the horses, you're invited immediately.
So I need to get Nick on a horse. If you're listening to this and you have a horse, let's make this happen.
I think I know a place we could get you on a horse.
I mean, I'm down. I'm not against it.
I've got a few places that I can go to ride them, and maybe we'll hook you up.
I have health insurance now again. So
no, that's important. They're crazy and they're large.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm super excited to have health insurance again so that I can do such things.
Hey, you never know. You never know what's going to happen.
My buddy had a few horses, and then he had a pony. And man, the pony was a little a-hole.
Oh, dude, they're mean. People. Yeah. I had one pick me up. I was little, but his name was Buckwheat, and it was a Shetland pony.
Yeah.
And they are mean as shit.
Yeah.
And it literally came. I will never forget it. It picked me up by the back of my neck and threw me from the side of our horse trailer. And my parents sold the pony literally the next week.
All right.
Yeah, but it would eat sweet tarts. It would eat pizza just off the side of the trailer. It was great. Old Buckwheat, yeah, they're
He's in
mean.
the glue factory now.
The 90s.
R.I.P.
That's funny.
Buckwheat. What a great name, too.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah.
Not a great pony, though.
No.
Yeah.
Listen, hey, that happens sometimes.
Yeah, you can't all be winners.
That's it.
There's something about just horse people. It's a whole different thing. It's having a dog is one thing, but then it's like there's a certain personality that I feel like you have to have to deal with all that.
Well, there's a level of caregiving that is different too.
That's part of why I hated it for so long. Once I got older, is because it was my job to feed all of the horses before school, from elementary school on, and that's really early. I rode the bus, so it's I don't no kindergarten or second grade or whatever it would have been once to do that. So it's I didn't love it. For a period of time when I got older because I got tired of the commitment of it all.
Yeah.
And then I missed it, and now I really miss it the older I get and such. So it's but I'd have to agree. It's a rare breed. Breed.
I mean, I got tired of even taking guitar lessons growing up because of the commitment.
Same.
Now I wish I could have a weekly guitar lesson.
Same. I literally just talked to my my bass player about it last week. I was like, I want to do that because I never really did. I don't know if how long you took lessons, but
dude, I'm the most lessoned up person ever. There's some people that they're like, I want to do this, and I'm just going to chase this specific sound, or I want to songwrite, and I want to be able to play lead in my thing. For me, it was just I just started taking lessons, and it was I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I've been taking music lessons since I was 10.
Okay.
And then I went to music school.
Okay.
Twice.
So you know your shit. Yeah,
for sure.
See, I don't know my shit. I mean, I know my shit, but I couldn't teach you.
Right.
How
I could teach.
You could teach
whoever,
me. There you go. All right. Well, I might call you for some lessons.
Please.
Because, yeah, it's funny, man. I took 9 months of guitar lessons when I was learning guitar. I was like 13 or 14. And I went into this guy that played at my church, and I was going to start writing songs, or I just started. And so I was like, I don't want to learn the scales. I don't want to know any of the things. I want to learn chords to write songs to. And so that's what he taught me. And so that is my knowledge of everything. I mean, I clearly know, some things, but I could not teach you what I know.
Yeah.
Like it's all in my head. And like everything that I have learned has been pretty much by ear. And just learning it, which I wish that I had done more like, because now it's hard. It's hard to go back and like teach yourself to learn a scale, because you're like, but I can do this, and it's like it's hard.
Yes, and I think if I had to choose one way to learn music, by ear or by learning theory, I'm gonna choose by ear every time.
Yeah,
absolutely. And all the greats have done it that way.
That's fair.
I mean, Jimi Hendrix could read music, and he played in the army band.
Yeah,
but like Stevie Ray Vaughan couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
He could rip the blues though.
That's true.
And I think growing up, I wasn't as much into like the ear training stuff as much, and I wish I was. And that's kind of like when I went to college, it was a lot of like transcribing and learning from records. And I think that's great. So I think you did great.
Well,
I mean, whatever you're doing is working, so don't change it.
Yeah.
Well, it's too late now.
Kurt definitely has an affinity for the guys that can like really pick.
Oh, man.
And that's what he was like, yeah. Alex.
Oh, let's go. Well, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
that means the world.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Coming from a guitar guy, I always say Kurt's thing that he's the best at is learning.
That's probably the greatest gift that you can have, I think, honestly. Cause
thanks, boys.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
But it's so much hard work. It's funny, like he's learned and is learning the fiddle.
Oh,
and it's just like
my wife plays the violin. Like went to college full ride on it. So
she's way better than me then.
I know how hard. I said it because I've seen how hard it is.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
I mean, I was jamming this morning with Colby, my neighbor.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And I was like, I sound very bad. Still out of tune. It's squeaking, and
Dude,
I'm just.
It's painful.
It's brutal,
like
man.
when it's like she's tried to, because she played on the last song on my record called Dad Now, and it's just her and I playing on it, and she had basically retired. I'd only heard her play a couple of times because she got burnt out in college on it and stuff, and so when she finally broke it out, we got it set up and stuff. She was trying to just like mess around and show me some stuff, and it is painful when it's not good. It's the worst not good instrument I think that exists. Like it's when it's not good, it's not good.
At least on steel guitar, you can put a bunch of delay on it and some reverb. Yeah,
verb makes everything sound good. It's great.
Yeah, fiddle is like.
Yeah, man.
And when you make that noise, but you're playing a stadium show, not my favorite.
I don't have that luxury of knowing that yet.
You will one day, man.
One day.
For sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, I just remember fucking up on stage and being like, well, that just happened.
What do you feel like is the biggest fuck up you've had in an arena so far as a musician or whatever? If you have one. There has to be the one.
Oh, I'll tell you a funny, just one very recent.
Okay.
So I went and saw you and Nick and I did on Tuesday at the listening room.
Yep.
I played the listening room on Wednesday.
Okay.
And it was a writer's round, and Sam Banks, Corey Hunt, and Rob Wolford were the singers and the songwriters, and I just played dobro and stuff.
Okay.
And I didn't know 95% of the tunes, and so I'm just jamming with them.
Yeah.
Making shit up. Well, the one Luke song that we played was Doing This, and Rob put it in a different key, and I played such a bad note, and I just looked down, and some of the other Luke band guys there, like Tyler King was there, and I looked at him, and he just shook his head. He's like, I'm like, hey, did you guys, after the show, I'm like, did you guys hear that wrong note? And they were like, oh, yeah, dude. And
Did we hear it?
And I asked Sam's brothers, who aren't musicians, like, yeah, we heard that. I'm like,
ouch.
And
yeah.
a couple weeks ago, I went on tour, and I played with Colby Calais.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And all her music she's incredible. A lot of it is very delicate and quiet. And we're playing in this theater, or like a casino gig, 3,000, 3,500 people or whatever. And we have drums, guitar, steel, and her. And she's playing this ballad, and it's this little tiny, fragile, beautiful thing. And I'm not like, there's no steel on the record on it. And I'm just kind of like adding stuff, which
just
they were
being
cool
ambient
with.
or whatever.
And I played such a bad note. I zigged and I pushed the wrong button on the pedals or the wrong lever, and I pulled that volume pedal down, and then the delay just kept sending that note out to the thing.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I went to John, her band leader guitar player, like, hey, did you hear that note? He's like, oh yeah, dude.
No,
totally heard
man.
it. I was like, fuck.
It's the worst. I don't know if you feel this way, but I know for myself, like when that happens, I'm that's in my head the rest of the show. I'm really bad at letting it. That was it. I moved past it. Next song, go on with it. Which you have to do clearly, so you do that. But like, I will think about that wrong note for the next 3 weeks, maybe the rest of my life. Honestly,
yeah, I'm like when I first started playing fiddle, and I would mess up all the time.
Yeah,
and my hands, the next 3 songs were like this.
Man,
yeah,
just it's so scary,
wild.
but makes you feel alive.
It does. It does because it's like it's when you do get it right, it's like it's worth the oops. You know, it's worth the oops.
I will tell a quick story about messing up. This isn't my mess up, but it's just really funny. When we play When It Rains and Pours, Luke will come out and he strums a chord, and then Jake the drummer, will count the song off, and he goes, Sunday morning, man. The guitar tech, Dan Isbell, God bless him, bless his heart, he had put the capo on the wrong thing. So Luke strummed the chord, and it was a G chord, and it should have been a F sharp chord, and it was like Sunday morning. And when the band came in, it sounded like a cat, just 10 cats fell on a piano all at once. And he's like, "Wait a minute, hold on here, everybody."
Man,
he goes, "Give it up for Dan, everybody."
So it just gets fully dunce cap in front of an entire arena.
Yeah, I mean, I could say that because he's like famous songwriter guy and has a podcast now, and he doesn't work for Luke anymore because family and stuff. But yeah, pretty funny,
man. Yeah, they got their own podcast now too.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Yeah, I'll make those mistakes in an arena someday. You know,
it's a good place to make it, man. You know,
it could be worse. There could be nobody there listening to those mistakes. You know, that's great. That's awesome.
Who are some of your dream acts that you would love to tour with? I know you got the tour with Brandy.
Yes, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Little Big Town was fun. I mean, just growing up listening to them and then becoming friends and touring with them was great. But in country, I would love to tour with Stapleton. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Brothers Osborne, I would love to tour with.
That's where he should get guitar lessons from.
No kidding, John's. I took some. Well, not literally, but when he played on my record, we did that remotely because it was during COVID, and so he recorded at his spot, and he played the outro solo, and he doubled some stuff with me in the middle one, but he played the outro solo, and he does this lick. Sorry, I'll get back on that, but I just tangent here. He does this kind of lick often, where it's almost like a banjo roll. But he does it on the electric guitar, and he does it on the outro solo of this song, and I learned his outro solo part because I loved it so much. And then I was just learning. We had this long private gig the other day, and we played Stay a Little Longer, which I don't recommend ever doing, specifically because of the 2.5-minute guitar solo at the end.
I feel the opposite about it. You should do it because it's 2.5 minutes.
No, well, that's fair. I don't recommend doing it live without their band. Not that my band killed it, but man, it's tough.
Yeah.
But he does the same lick in that solo, but it's in there a different key, and I was like, oh, I know this one, and I did it, and it's the same one. But I learned one lick that he does, and it's fun. But yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
I need you to show me that later.
I will. I will. It's a good one, and it works everywhere. But they would be great. I mean, Miranda Lambert, I would love to tour with for country folks, But outside of country music, I would love to tour with John Mayer. Would be obviously a dream.
Yeah.
I would love to tour with somebody like Anita Breathe. I love those guys, and the Bear Reinhardt stuff. I think's awesome. Or whatever it's called, Wilder Woods. Patrick Droney's a buddy of mine, and I'd love to do some touring with him, just guitar wise. I have a dream that nobody hopefully will steal on here, but of doing a CMT Crossroads one day with him and I. Do John Mayer, Keith Urban, be Patrick Droney, Alex Hall. I think it'd be pretty fun if the time ever came. So I think that'd be fun. So there's lots of them. I love I'd take any tour that anybody offered me right now. That'd be a great tour. But I love touring with people that not necessarily even meaning a party atmosphere, but just the energy of the tour is just a good environment.
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean? Like we've all been around tours that it's not that way. Yeah. And that just, it takes the life and the fun out of, because you're already away from home. You're already like, depending on the situation, not eating great food, not sleeping, you know, especially opening acts. Like, so it's like when you're touring with someone who also the environment of the venue is kind of like, don't leave your room, don't breathe air, like don't like all of these things. Yeah. It's like, you know, it's so I just want to tour with people that have good energy and good environments, and their fans also reciprocate that back as well. Yeah. Because again, also I'm sure that you've seen this too. It's like there are fans of people that also are, man, if you're not that artist, it does not matter how good you are or what you're playing. Like they just want that headliner. That's it. And it's like, that's just, you know. But, and also Eric Church would be cool. Just the poster behind there.
Oh yeah, he's good.
You know, it'd be pretty solid.
Yeah. Yeah. I found that one of the things, and I mean, previous to being in Nashville, I worked, you know, day jobs, corporate jobs and stuff. But you get to catch, like, from working with people either on events or like, you know, being in studios, you get to catch businesses vibes, and the same thing with teams. So like Bailey Zimmerman's team has a certain vibe, right? You know, like Luke's team has a certain vibe. Sure. And it's cool to like get to kind of experience that, because you watch that they collect other people that have that same vibe.
That's really funny.
That's so accurate. You're wildly accurate with that.
Yeah. But I mean, if you think about it, if you got to be around those people forever, or for a good chunk of the year at least, like you want to have other people that headspaces fit the same way together.
Oh man, one bad egg in the water, man. It's like the whole thing's tainted. It's terrible. And again, it doesn't matter if you're in that crew. You could be in the opening crew. It's like it's if you're just in the vicinity. Yeah, vicinity, whatever. Yeah, that word.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know.
My English teacher told me yes.
I barely got out of high school. You know, again, so it's like here we are. But I write songs.
Yeah, I don't word good.
I don't word good. It just comes out when I sing. You know.
Yeah. But I think that's a big part of it too. And it's like, you think about that, like even like, I mean, we host writers rounds, you know, and we host like events in town. And one of the things I talk about with my business partner, Matt, is like, dude, we have to make the vibe the thing that people want to be around.
For sure.
You know, and whether that's someone selling our merch or artists playing our shows, whatever it is, you know, the stuff that you put into the world has to be what you want to come back to you.
It's funny. I was having a lunch meeting before this, and we were literally just talking about that. It's like, no matter what kind of music you make, because like in my mind, I think of this as like an Eric Church or a Kenny Chesney, but it really doesn't matter. It's like you're selling a lifestyle, whether it's like you're really artistic or you're, you know, slamming beers or whatever your lifestyle is. That is the people that are going to be around you. So it is a lifestyle. And so it's like the people that, whether it's the Raised Rowdy thing or the Alex Hall thing or whatever it is, it's like that is the people that you're going to attract. And so it's like, well, what is your lifestyle that you're going to bring to them and let them become a part of? Yep. Which is it's an interesting thing to think about, but it's true.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things with like social media too that kind of helps, you know?
Absolutely.
Because you can kind of show what your vibe is. You can show, you know, some of the things that make you that like people can identify with.
Absolutely.
You know?
I mean, you're in as much control of it as you can create, you know, I guess really. So it's like, which I'm still learning. I think I'm not, social media is not necessarily my strong suit, but I'm learning it. I'm working on it. And it's like, it is true though. It's like you have the gift and the ability to create that. And that is in today's world where everybody's finding what that is. So it's like, it's important.
Yeah, my marketing brain is like, all right, what are the things that make you you? Then pick a couple of them and then try to share those with the people.
For sure, yeah.
And if that one particular thing that you shared doesn't get traction, then maybe share something else, because you have 1,000 things that make you you.
Absolutely.
Number one, what are you willing to give to people?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So that's very important, because when you give it to them, you can't take it back.
Yeah, especially if it works.
Yeah, absolutely. You know? So, but then also it's like, okay, is this something that people are like, okay, I get it. Like I always use an example of like Ryan Hurd when he started doing coffee content on his social media. He's like, I didn't even really realize I was like the coffee guy. Yeah. You know?
What was that? I didn't see that.
It started like a while ago, like during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Right?
He just kind of how you like nerd out on coffee. Hurd was like nerding out on coffee and like showing it every day and like talking about his cup. you know.
But he would also tie it into like either playing a demo or like, and then he would who I wrote it with. Like he would tie it all into the coffee pour.
Yeah.
And then it went away for a long time.
And people were like, "Where's the coffee?"
And then it just came back again.
Yeah.
It just came back again. And I'm here for the coffee content.
Yeah,
you know?
it's cool.
It is.
I mean, listen, everybody's thing's different. So like,
absolutely. Yeah,
if that worked and his people felt engaged with it,
absolutely,
then keep doing it.
Yeah, man.
You know,
I'm just trying to hope people will get involved with my, my vintage clothes and
the
watches
fringe
and shit.
Yeah,
that's what I'm
dude,
hoping for.
I saw you when we saw you at the listing room, and then like now I'm like, this
was I wearing this? I was wearing this that night.
Yeah,
well, shit.
I was like, that's the vibe. It's
man, well, thank you.
I have a
1970s deer skin, my friend.
Gosh, good.
I didn't kill the deer. I wasn't there, but
hey, I
wearing
don't
the
mind.
jacket.
Kurt might hate it. But.
I mean, it's pretty good. So, what are you rocking on the wrist there?
This is it's a 1959 Omega Seamaster.
Yeah, I noticed it when you walked in. I go,
Oh, are you a watch guy?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
I'm kind of like just getting into it because just by being around Luke and our monitor guys. Zeus
is he a watch?
Luke?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't know. Well, he's got the budget. you
Yeah.
know. But that's the thing with watches that's tough is you gotta have the budget, which I don't have.
Yeah. It's in our.
What are you wearing then? Man,
this is a Nevada diver.
Oh, sick! Yeah.
And a friend of mine, who I'm not going to name, and we traded because I have guitars that I don't use, and he's getting a guitar. I'm getting into watches.
Yeah.
So
you can just
we did a trade. Yeah.
That's smart.
So this is that has a black wristband, and I went to an emo show last night, so I'm like, I'm gonna take my Tudor off in case I get into the mosh pit. I'm gonna put this watch on.
What Tudor do you have?
The Black Bay.
The
58.
Okay, yeah. I had a 36 and I just sold it. I'm gonna probably get another one because I really I loved the smiley face before they went away with went straight faced and yeah.
The
sorry, I could nerd out about what
I know.
I
It's
love
just
them.
a little bit longer. Whenever I wear that Tudor, like it just I get so many
It
compliments
makes you
on it.
feel different, man. I swear.
Yeah.
I've been into watches since I was in like second grade. My grandmother bought me a Fossil when I was like first or second grade, and I've been obsessed with them ever since. And so I've had some, homage, kind of not some Steinhardts and stuff like that have been great watches, but they're not the Rolex or the whatever.
Sure.
And I finally just was like, I didn't really have the change yet, but I was like, I was walking the CMAs and doing like the whole thing, and I was like, I'm gonna buy a fucking Tudor. Yeah. And so I did, and I sold it reluctantly, and I just have regret instantly. So I'm avidly looking for another one because and they don't make it anymore. They don't make the smiley face anymore. So
dang.
Yeah.
The watch thing is a whole rabbit hole.
Yeah, man.
But it's like when you find someone that's into it, then like
I could talk to you for 3 hours right here about it. That's yeah. It's a small community. It's a niche thing, but it's like I had no idea. I mean, I don't know Luke, but I had no idea he was a watch guy.
Nick has one of the coolest watches I've ever seen.
The Nickelback watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Bro,
what is that?
It's just like from the 2000s.
I'm gonna pull a picture of it up.
Is it like a big old like Nixon guy?
No. It's just the face of Nickelback on the back of the watch.
Oh, actually.
Yeah.
That's honestly it's kind of awesome.
Yeah, I was just like, we do Butt Rock Night. I don't know if you know that, but
no, I didn't.
We run an account called Butt Rock Night,
Let's go.
and we do events twice a year in town where it's like full band karaoke, but every singer sings a butt rock song. It's magical.
It sounds like
it's just pure excellence and excess.
Because honestly, who doesn't love it? Like you're not allowed to, but you really do.
Yeah,
It's
like if you didn't jam out to How You Remind Me, like you probably didn't grow up.
I love that it's also like a lizard band. Like, it's like
and
trying to be classy, but it's like look at this photograph.
Yeah,
look at this chronograph.
My man.
I cannot take credit for that joke. Michael Zusho, that was his joke. I should send him
really
this photo
good, Michael.
and
whoever you are.
yeah,
I
look
don't know
at this chronograph.
That's good.
Every time
honestly, if somebody hasn't made that pun yet for somewhere, then that's a missing market.
Yeah.
That should be Hidinki's like slogan. Yeah, man, it's sexy.
I bought it when we were in London, and I was like, all right.
It's a great looking watch.
Let me see it.
All right. I was like, you know what? I went to Harrods to buy the Harrods one, and then I tried this one on. I'm like, this is awesome. This is the one.
That's my favorite one out of that lineup. I think I really like it. I've got this one, and then I've got a 1968 Omega tank that's like like the Cartier kind of style tank, but it's Omega's version, which was JFK's favorite watch apparently, which is kind of cool. So that's the first one that I had. I just got this one not too long ago, but I really love it.
It's sick. I noticed it right when you walked in.
Oh, that's awesome.
When we played the Grammys this year, Larry, the bass player, had this little tiny watch on. Like it was like super small, smaller than
this
yours.
is 35, which is pretty small.
and which I like smartwatches.
Yeah.
And I was like, Larry, what watch is that? It's gorgeous. He's like, oh, it's a pre-war Rolex.
No way.
Yeah.
That's
like,
cool.
Damn, that's awesome.
Honestly, I've never even looked at
Yeah,
those.
it was like from the 30s.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they really got popular in like the 40s, 50s with like the dive watches. Like they really.
Yeah, because this was like a little tiny thing.
That's amazing. That's wild. Yeah, because really, I'll go on forever. Sorry, I love them.
Rich people stuff.
Yeah. No, I mean, Kurt just talks numbers and letters all the time because he's into music, photography, and now watches.
Honestly, those are the three things that I'm into as well.
Yeah.
I literally stopped and got some more film on the way over here at Boutique Film Lab, my man.
I'm losing a best friend. He's now your best friend.
I also use Boutique. I love Boutique, man.
They're great. I have like 3 of their coffee cups at my house, and I love them. They're great.
Well, what cameras are you shooting on?
Film wise, it's just a Pentax K1000. It's like a
classic
78 through 82 because the serial number. That's just the range you can get. My wife got it for me as my birthday lines up on Father's Day is every year as well. So it was like a gift.
Yeah,
from
those
her.
are so solid. Those are great cameras.
It's still my favorite camera that I own. And then the other one that I shoot on is the Fujifilm X100. T, I think, because I couldn't find the V's anywhere, and I wasn't going to pay double for them because I just can't morally do that. So I got a T, and I love it.
I've got the V, and which I got in a trade. I traded a Mamiya 6, if you know that medium format.
No,
rangefinder. I traded that for that and a Pentax 6.7.
Oh, sick!
Yeah,
that's cool.
I got that digital camera.
That's
the camera
awesome.
You shot with before.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite cameras ever. I love it. I still primarily like to use my film camera. I love the manual.
Yeah, it's more fun.
Take of it all.
Yeah,
I also just love the photos that I get out of it. Mm-hmm. You take your time, and that was the whole reason I wanted it in the first place, was like not to have 1,000 photos. Was like I got the shot and then I moved on. But especially touring wise and stuff, I love the Fuji because you can as soon as you get back to the hotel room or the bus or wherever you're on, you can get your stuff and be done. And the video on it's amazing too, which is great.
And you can zap the photos to your phone now.
It's mine at least. The T's slow.
They just fixed the app so it works better.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I haven't tried it
within the last few months.
See, yeah, I like looking at them on my computer anyway, so I always just like pop the SD in and just roll with it. But that's good to know because it was very slow.
I love taking photos very much. Very fun. Especially on the road, because then you look back and you're like, oh, I forgot about that.
I know. It's awesome. And the funny thing, man, it's like I know I'm supposed to talk about music, but whatever.
It's
honestly,
our podcast. We can talk about whatever.
Exactly. I love that. And I like talking about this stuff. It's funny, man. I've always loved photography. I love creative stuff in general, but like I never, and I still don't have any desire to be like a photographer. Clearly, like I'm doing music. But through it, like I've Cassie Ashton played the round the other night, good friend of mine, and like she called me and like she asked me to go shoot some photos of her in the studio, and then like I got to take like a Music Row press shot for some friends of mine for their publishing company, and like I've just for fun, they're like, I love your photos, will you take these? And so it's like I've gotten paid to take some photos, which is cool too, and it's just I love it. Yeah, so it's funny, man. I think we got some vibes going on. Got some vibes.
I mean, it's always weird. Like I show up with a camera and they're like, people are like, what? Like, what are you doing?
I'm not kidding. I normally bring it with me everywhere, but it freaks people out in certain situations, especially with me being the person that's coming to be here and do this.
In front of the camera,
like, why do you have a camera with you? But like, I don't know. I love it. So I'm got to get out of my head again of like, fuck those people, you know.
Yeah. When we had, who do we have on? When Hannah was on, I had my camera out, and so I was like,
Hannah McFarland.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
During the pod, I took a picture of her ripping an apple in half.
See, but that's awesome though. It's like I don't know why it's such a weird thing that like some people get like, I don't know. And again, I'm in my head about it, but it's fun. It's just nice memories to have.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I like it since it's not my day job. I can, when I feel inspired.
Yes.
Like I can be like, hey, let me come shoot your show. Like I shot Keller's show the other day at the basement. And then when I don't feel like taking photos, I'm like, I'm not bringing my.
Don't have to, dude. This is not the same thing, but like my wife and I went to the zoo Saturday because we're home and beautiful day, so we took the little guy to the zoo, and I brought my cameras and everything, and I did not pick them up because I was just like I was planning on taking a lot of photos and stuff because I normally do, but then I'm also miss the moment a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
So I didn't touch it, and because again, it's like doesn't matter,
Right.
which is the beauty of it. It's the beauty of it. I feel like guilty if I don't touch a guitar for a week, because like which never happens, but every once in a while I'll push myself to take a break from it, and I feel guilty with that because it does feel like I'm like, well, you're supposed to be practicing and doing this, and it's like, but yeah, with the camera, it doesn't matter.
True. I love it, man. It's fun. I'm cool. It's cool that you shoot film too.
It's my favorite. Yeah, if you were like you can only have one camera, I would pick a film. I think
That's great.
If I could only have one camera,
I might not be the Pentax, but it would be a film. I think.
yeah.
Yeah. What would yours be?
Leica.
Mine would be
Probably my
same.
I just know
M6.
that name.
Yeah.
Well, is it the Q3? I think is that the Greg
Yeah.
Williams Leica?
Yeah.
Is that his name? I think
I don't know who that is, but there is a Q3. I have an M6, which is like a film. It's
the
a
Q3 is
rangefinder.
digital, but yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
The M6 is really portable, which I like about it. So
Yeah.
when we're in Europe, I just brought it with me everywhere and just took pictures when I was like walking around and at bars and stuff.
That's the camera we shot my my album cover on. Actually, was that? Yeah.
So Dustin Haney, who
Yep.
shot your album cover,
Yeah.
and so I was looking at the press kit that y'all saw, and I looked at this photo, and it was a black and white photo, obviously shot on film. And I was like, something about this photo looks very familiar to me.
Okay.
And then I figured out, I looked at the photographer and it said Dustin Haney. So I texted Dustin. I go, hey, I'm doing some homework for this podcast, and I see this photo looks great. He goes, that was your backdrop. And I'm like,
no way.
Yeah.
You're who we borrowed it from?
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Small town
There
stuff.
you go. I'm telling you, man. I knew he borrowed it. We shot that in Katie McCartney is our GM at Monument, and we shot it in her garage.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so funny, man. Well, there you go. Well,
Small
thank
town,
you very much.
Little big town.
Come
small
on.
town.
Little big town, small town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for letting us borrow it or rent it or whatever, however we got it. Thank you.
I think he gave me some film, and I was like,
there you go.
fine. Here you go.
Kurt has a mini fridge full of film.
Oh, I think I remember that actually. That he told me this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
So shout out to Dustin.
Shout out
to
Dustin.
Like Lee for making good photo backdrops.
And he's killing it in the video space, man. He's really not even. I mean, he is a photographer, but he's a video guy and kills it.
yeah, he did that Cody Johnson stuff, and it's so good.
Yep.
Yeah.
All
I
the
met
new
him.
Parker McCollum stuff he's done too, and yeah,
Yeah.
he's great. I think he's done some of the Luke stuff too. I think maybe not major videos, but I think he's done some stuff with Luke too in the
I'm
past.
sure.
But yeah, he's great. Anyway, Dustin Haney.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to some of your music.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, long tangent on hobbies.
Yeah.
Hey, honestly though, that's
Giving
what
the
a
people what we
podcast's
want,
for.
you know?
Yeah. Like I think that's the cool part. That's the difference between a radio interview and a podcast.
That's fair.
Is
Yeah.
you kind of get to give people a little bit of actually what makes you outside of the music.
Yeah,
So,
that's fair. And honestly, the podcasts that I like to listen to do that. You
Yeah.
know, if you get on tangents and versus just like, here,
sure.
listen to what I'm promoting right now, and I'll see you guys later.
yeah.
And it's like, okay, this hearted, and then horses, okay, record deal. It's like,
Mini Jimmy, it's
Yeah.
great. All right, got it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And Buckwheat, don't forget Buckwheat. We got
Yeah,
him.
man,
R.I.P.
Buckwheat, R.I.P. He's probably long gone by now. Yeah,
Yeah, he
That's-
was a good bad
he's
boy.
up in
though.
he's a good little pony
Yeah.
up in horsey heaven. Yeah, man.
well, maybe he'll make the next record.
You see a song called Buckwheat.
Yeah.
It's about little horses.
Oh.
There's something in there, little horses, I don't
Little
know.
horses.
Little horses on a
Nope, that's not it.
Yeah. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it.
Also, I know you talked about being a new dad.
Yeah.
So, do you think that has affected your writing of? I assume
Absolutely,
so.
yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, again, there's a song on my record called "Dad Now," so
Yeah.
that obviously did in a lot of ways. And that song I wrote with Brandy Clark actually as well, and we rewrote it a few different times because it originally started about your dog dying, and which was a true story for one of the co-writers, but like it was originally about your dog dying, and you're the adult now and the dad now. And you have always had your dad to help deal with those problems. And that was the original version of the song, which was great, but also like was not necessarily where I was honestly in my life. So we rewrote it a few times, and that song kind of very honestly became the story of my wife and I finding out we were pregnant. We got married in 2020 November, got pregnant in December, found out in January. And we were very happy and thankful about it all, but we were anticipating a few years, and it was the height of the pandemic still, and everything. So it was a really crazy time. My 6-string EP was like in the midst of coming out, not out yet. So it was just interesting. And so I try to be as honest as I could in that song. So that's where I would say the inspiration of it started, but it definitely creeps in. And I don't ever want to be like make records that are just like, I feel like a lot of times, and I don't mean this in any disrespect to anybody at all, because I get it, but I feel like a lot of times once you become a dad and get married and all of these things start happening, the songs change quite a bit. Like it gets a little softer, it gets a little, which I've clearly love songs and sensitive songs and all of that stuff, but I don't want to become the artist or the writer that strictly that's all that I really talk about. Because, which again, nothing wrong with it, but I don't want to listen to a whole record of that. So like, I don't want to make anybody else do that either. Yeah. So I'm trying to be careful. All that being said, I'm trying to be careful with writing because I am writing new music at the moment, and like it'll definitely subconsciously, I think, even slip into some of the songwriting and stuff for sure. But I am trying to be conscious of the fact of like not having it in all aspects of it, because there's a lot more to me than just being a dad.
Yep.
And I think that sometimes becoming a dad, you forget that. I feel like I've at least experienced that, like observing and stuff, that like it just becomes your whole world because it takes over your life.
Yeah.
In the best way possible. But yeah, so I'm trying to be cautious of it.
Yeah.
Is the music that you've been writing recently stylistically similar to what you've released so far, or is there any?
I would say it's like grungy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like grungy, it's super heavy, a little hip hop in the middle of like, it's probably honestly like System of a Down. Like I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding.
Nick's favorite genre is grunge, so I was like,
I do. Hey man,
yeah.
I love some Soundgarden and Nirvana and all. I'm all into. I love it. But I had at one point in my life did cover Heart Shaped Box for a while, so there's that. But no, sonically, no, I don't think it's shifting it much at all from what Side Effects of the Heart was.
Yeah.
I think my goal as an artist, all the at least the artists I'm fans of, like always are elevating. I feel like at least not only their songwriting or their musicianship or the way they make records, but they're carrying on what they've done, making it better and just shifting it slightly. So it's like, I don't want to go for the people that did listen to Side Effects of the Heart and did enjoy it. I don't want to make another round of music that's like not even remotely the same thing. You know? But my hope is that it's just going to be better versions of what I've already done and just fresh topics, and because life keeps changing and keep experiencing more stuff and buying more watches, and life goes on.
The cooler watches.
Time keeps ticking. You know?
Get that. Look at this chronograph.
Look, it's coming on album number 2. Don't you worry about it. Raised Rowdy, it will just get a 3rd. We'll just put you guys.
We'll just put in the like buy notes of the album on the vinyl, and it'll just say Raised Rowdy gets a 3rd. I don't actually get a 3rd. It just says that.
It just says it. Perfect. Deal.
I'll take a 6th of an Alex Hall tune. For sure.
The 6th.
Half of a 3rd.
I don't know if I've ever had a song split into 6 ways. That'd be fun.
First time.
There you go.
Yeah. It'd be you, Brandy, and then Nick and I.
There you go. And then we'll just find 2 other.
But no, you guys, we get a half of the 3rd.
Oh, that's true. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You guys deserve it.
No, we don't.
It's not going to change much, man. I don't know what we haven't started recording anything yet, but I'm writing it, and I think it's going to be fun.
Are you working with the same producer? Are you still thinking about that?
I'm still thinking on it. That's a great question. I have a lot of people in mind that I have not worked with that I would be interested in working with.
Yeah.
Who?
Well, one, I did this record and the 6-string record with Pete Good and Shane McAnally. I produced it with them, and I love working with them. So there's a very good chance that's what's going to happen again.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of them, I would love to work potentially with Dave Cobb. I think would be really cool. Frank Liddell, who did obviously the Liam Womack records and some of the earlier Miranda and David Nail records. Like I love all of the Liam Womack records, but the last 2 she's put out, I think sonically are just masterpieces. So I'm just a big fan of that. And then Jay Joyce, I think, would also be very cool.
Yeah.
And then John Osborne's producing records, so it'd be cool.
That's what I was gonna say. I was doing the air guitar because he wants to be getting more in, because he did the Lindeville and some other stuff.
He produced one of the. I think it was the Younger Me. I think he produced for them, for Brothers, on his own, which was amazing. And then he's producing. I saw this great guitar player. Have you seen Grace Bowers, I think is her name. She's
Yeah.
and I think
good.
he's making a record on her too, which is cool.
That's great.
Yeah, but no, John's amazing. I've definitely thought about it. We have not talked about it, but it would be cool because clearly he knows his way around the studio.
Yeah, and then he can teach you all the guitar licks.
Literally, I know his one already. All right, so it's like I'm just gonna steal it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but so I don't know. I don't know yet. I'm probably a couple songs away writing wise from like making a decision before we go record some stuff. But yeah,
how many songs do you think that you write a year?
Ooh man,
Like just ballpark.
It depends on the year.
Yeah.
I've gone through some years where I've written over 200 songs. And then like last year, I think I wrote like 30.
Yeah.
So like it just depends. This year, I think I've already written probably close to like 25 or 30.
Cool.
So I've already almost outwritten what I did last year. This year. But my record was completely done last year, and I was touring a ton.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I'm not in a luxurious spot of being able to ride on the road, because it's like you're either hopping a plane at 5 a.m. or climbing in a minivan or whatever it is. And so, last year I did not ride as much, but yeah, so it just depends. But yeah, I'd say on average probably between like 50 and 80, 50 to 100.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun though.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Speaking of touring,
yeah,
you got some gigs coming up?
Yes. Starting this week, I leave out on the first run of shows with Cassie Ashton.
Awesome.
She's doing her first headlining tour, which is awesome, and she's been kind enough to ask me to come open, which is fun. So doing that. I think we got a few festival things I'm doing, and then CMA Fest this summer at the moment. But hopefully fall we'll bring in some more stuff, and we'll get going in there, especially because we're going to put some more music out this year, so that'll help, I think, get some more stuff rolling. But yeah, so heading out with Cassie for a little bit.
You playing full band or acoustic? Or
Those are going to be acoustic. CMA Fest and all that would be full band. But the Cassie dates are acoustic. For myself, she'll be full band. But it'll be just acoustic for me, which is fun. I mean, I definitely prefer to do full band. It's more energy, it's more fun, and play a lot of electric guitar and stuff. So it's
That's what I was about to ask. Yeah,
I love playing acoustic. It's if I'm just sitting around, that's naturally what I'm going to pick up and play anytime. But as far as live goes, I would keep an electric in my hand all night if I had enough band members, I think. Because I don't run tracks. I don't like running tracks.
Same.
Rock and roll.
Hell yeah.
Do you guys run tracks? Because
No.
it's a big band. Like it's
Yeah, we got enough people we don't have to.
Yeah, which is nice.
And so.
Do you feel like having every instrument covered basically on stage, do you like that, or do you think it'd be cool to have it a little more minimalistic and have more space to have it different live? Personally speaking,
I like, because we've never used tracks. When Luke was first coming up, it was no tracks, and then it never got added. And because he was like you, he grew up playing little bar gigs, and the guys in the band can play and sing, so we don't need that.
Yep.
I like how we're set up right now, where it's like we have 4 guitar players on stage sometimes, so sometimes I'm only playing a little bit, so especially now that I'm older, I'm like learning to play less, especially in an ensemble thing.
Yep.
And we're good about like recording the shows and going back and listening.
That's
which
awesome.
helps too.
Some like game day footage kind of vibes.
Yeah,
it's great. That's awesome. Yeah, that's definitely the goal for myself, is to get. I don't know that I ever want it to be like where there's like, I don't know how many people I have in the band, but like where there's like, there's some folks that have like 15 to 20 people on a stage, which is great. But I do like having space in the sound. But I definitely would be, I would love to have maybe like 1 or 2 more guitar players, and
so we
call it a day.
We have drums, Jake, bass, Matt, keys, Corey. Then we have Tyler's our band leader, and he sings high harmony.
Okay.
And then we have Jamie Davis. He sings below Luke harmony.
Okay.
Then Dustin is our lead guitar player.
Okay.
And he plays banjo. And then I play steel guitar and all that other.
All the others.
Yeah. And then I'll play lead guitar and some
and
stuff.
Luke.
Yeah. And then Luke.
Right.
So that's 7 band guys. And then Luke.
And so 8.
Yeah.
That's honestly solid. I feel like that is like the perfect setup, because then you don't need tracks and you still sound like a live band.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it's so much fucking fun, man. We're about to go out on tour. We're about to start too in April. So
sick.
We've been doing band rehearsals, and then beginning of the month we're doing production rehearsals with lighting and text and everything, and video, and then we're gonna go and play some stadium shows, and it's gonna be awesome.
I need to try to come. I've seen him at like some festivals and like other things, but I haven't seen like a proper show. So I need to maybe a city will line up where I can come see a show.
Dude, anytime hit me
be
up.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love to do it outside of Nashville. Like I love to go see a because Nashville's just Nashville, you know.
Yeah,
it's
I
fun
talk
to
about
go
that a
elsewhere.
lot. Nashville shows are like everyone is there and everyone's
which is fun.
Yeah,
It's great.
Yeah, everyone's like a little different than they would be.
Yep.
We were in the pit for Dan and Shay, which was great, and it was. Yeah, like that's more my vibe.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's
It's like
amazing.
being in the mix.
One of you, I saw it on one of the stories where like singing at the top of your lungs, and it was so great in the video.
It was me on everyone.
Yeah.
And I just love some Dan and Shay, man. Dude, it feels good.
It's great. The melodies are fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, that's I literally did. I think I laughed because it was so great. It was like I guess it was you. Your voice was just as loud as theirs was, and I was like, I love that so much.
I remember one time I was at a Stapleton show. It was a festival that we played, and we played at like 5 p.m. on the side stage, and he was the headliner in Arizona, probably 2018, I think, 2017. So it's a long time ago. And the PA was like quiet, like it was just like, and I was pretty drunk. Just, and he's playing Fire Away, and I'm singing it off the top of my lungs.
Yeah, as you're supposed to do.
And then these people were like, shh. And I was like, what?
Oh, man. That is funny. I mean, yeah. I guess, honestly, last time I saw him, like, real full show, it was at Bridgestone, and Brothers were opening with Brent Cobb, and it was quiet. They
don't like a loud PA at Chris shows.
Which I guess, it does make it sound good, I guess, but it ruins your moment.
Yeah.
Your moment.
I don't know, but it was still Chris Stapleton, so it's great.
It's
I'm
always
like,
good, man.
Turn that up. And then sometimes I'm at a show, I'm like, I want to just go up to like the DJ and be like, here's $20. We just turn it down a scotch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on the vibe.
Yeah.
It depends on the vibe. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. We want our shows to be up, though. You know, you want to
crank them up.
Yeah,
Put them to
man.
11.
Let's go.
Yeah.
We were at the local recently and watching Will Jones and the boys crush, and
another one I don't know personally, but I've seen
so good.
Just people talk about, and he seems awesome.
Yeah, you gotta hear that guy play bluegrass music. It's insane.
Just hear him play everything. Jeez,
that's what I've gathered. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh no. And then the music, it was so loud in there.
Really?
And because they don't know. And I mean, the band doesn't know that it's loud.
Yeah.
You know,
you
and
can't
it's not
tell.
their fault. It's like the front of house guy.
Yeah.
So I said to the waitress, I'm like, can we turn the music down? Like my ears, I'm physically in pain.
Yeah.
I'm trying to drink beers here. And she's like, I asked the sound guy to turn it down all the time, and he just won't. We think he's deaf. Like he just
sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I look, he's got a decibel meter. It's like over 100. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
In a room
Yeah.
that holds like maybe 85 people.
Yeah,
probably.
maybe.
Like it's like packed.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And so now I've got. You have that earplugs all the time. I was definitely.
I don't have a little canister like that. That's pro.
This is from Amazon, bro. This will fix it.
I've got like actual molded plugs for my in-ears that fit the same. Like, you know what I mean? Like those.
Yeah.
But I don't have a little cool thing, you know.
Well, then, because then you end up in a situation where you're like, let's go do this, and there's music and it's loud, and then you got to protect yourself.
Yeah, it's like
Nicky hooked me up with that.
Yeah, it was like, bro, you need
sick.
a canister so you can put them.
I'm
and
gonna
never
go
not
Amazon
have
that.
them.
That's a hack. That is a hack.
Because I mean, if we don't have ears, we got nothing.
No,
I'm not Beethoven over here. I need to be able to hear shit. You know.
You mean you don't see it?
Yeah. Not yet.
I mean, you think my intonation's bad on fiddle now? Wait till you hear me with my
wait
the
till I
earring
can
damage.
just see it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, God, that isn't. I mean, not to get on a Beethoven tangent, but like to write all that and not be able to hear is
crazy.
That's next level.
Yeah.
That's something Shane McAnally will never be able to do.
Yeah.
You know.
Unless he becomes deaf, then maybe.
That's amazing.
Crazy. Yeah. I mean, music is such a deep well.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
you spend your whole life practicing it, and then you watch Hilary Hahn play violin. You're like, I will never be good ever.
Or again, try to learn a John Osborne lick.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's like I think I'm doing all right, and then or you go learn a Vince Gill lick and learn that you're doing too much, and then it's, doesn't matter.
True, man.
Doesn't matter what it is.
But that's what makes studying music so fun.
It's a blast. It's the best part of it. Like you said, or one of you said you're like such a great learner.
He is, yeah.
And so it's like, it's the best part of it, I think.
I just like to listen, but there's learning in that too.
Absolutely.
Because it's like we'll talk about like a show that we're at, and Kurt will be like, "Well, isn't this person like kind of bigger than the other person? I'm like, yeah, but like this is like the OG of the scene. And like, it's like you're opening,
which
paying
matters.
homage to
Absolutely.
that person. You know,
man.
like it'd be like if Luke did a show with Eric Church and Luke was before Eric Church. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like if you look at straight up numbers right now, Luke is bigger, but that was the guy that made him want to be Luke.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
Or one of the guys. So it's like one of those things.
Yeah, man.
And that's the fun part about like just being me. I don't have to know about the guitar licks or which chords make what.
We'll do that.
We'll do all the licks for you.
Yeah. Hey, you guys are great at it.
It's finger licking good. You know?
Yeah. But I can like kind of help, you know, oh yeah, well this was like kind of what started this to like rattle and shake so that this person could kind of do this thing. It's a super interesting part of it
just as
too.
important. Like it's all important because it's like it all leads to either being a fan of it or learning more about it and continuing the history of it through the years of why, you know, even back to the guitar stuff of why, you know, Jimi Hendrix playing with Little Richard went to then Jimi Hendrix to Stevie Ray Vaughan to John Mayer to B.B. King back down there, and then it's like keeps coming back around, you know. It's like it doesn't matter whether you're playing or not. It's like it's just all about, we're all fans of it at the end of the day. That's what it comes down to, I think.
Yeah.
And some people can play, some people can listen. That's just the difference.
And that's one of the cool parts about getting to have a podcast like this, specifically with Kurt as a co-host, is we kind of like get both sides of it a little bit.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, I think it's so fun. It's like it's a great perspective on all of it, and it's a blast.
Yeah.
And Nick is my like A&R person. He's like, dude, check this out. I'm like, damn, this is good. He's like, yeah, I know.
That's awesome.
It's funny that sometimes too, though. He's like, why this song? And he's like, it's not perfect. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, but I don't hear it's not perfect.
Which is again an art. That's an art to be able to do that. Because like sometimes you especially I feel like myself, like I'm bad about like I will pick anything apart to a T, including my own stuff. But like I will pick
your own stuff.
Especially my own
like
stuff.
Me,
Yes, 100%. But like I have a hard time going to a concert or listening to a record without trying to dissect it, which I try my best not to do, but it's just an instinctual thing that I think just years of dissecting music does to you. And so I envy the fact of being able to like hear flaws in something and be like, yeah, it's fucking great.
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel like you're that way when you go to a country show, or what if you go to like a
all
hip-hop?
of the above? I went to the Beyonce show last year.
And you weren't just vibing, you were like, well,
I was vibing. No, I was vibing. But I was picking it apart still, and also just being like, what could I steal from this? That's clearly nothing remotely near what I'm going to ever do. Not that I couldn't do what size wise. I hope that I can, but just like genre wise, I'm probably not going to do like all the single ladies at some point in my career. But you never know.
But everyone said that show was great. Did you have a good time?
It was awesome. I took a little mushroom before, and that was really fun.
Hell yeah.
It was really great.
And you were still thinking,
and I was even more so.
Wow.
But it it stops after a while. But I don't know, man. It's like it just depends on the show. But like I don't think it's always a bad thing. But I do. It's something that I don't love about myself. It's like I have a hard time 100% of the time enjoying a concert, and no matter, even if it's Brothers Osborne, it's like, and I love those guys. I think they're the best band in country music, period. Like, no offense, I know, but like as a whole, I don't think there's a better band in country music than Brothers Osborne. And I still go to their shows and be like trying to dissect stuff, even not in a negative way, like in like, oh, that was really cool, or like whatever it is.
Yeah, just listening critically.
Just listening critically. Yeah. And I don't love that about myself, but it's just there. It's just there.
I feel that too, and for me, it's like from a fan side, it's a little weird. I'm like, I don't know what really is going on correctly. So I'm like, why am I trying to pick this apart? Specifically, like I've kind of like stopped drinking recently.
Yeah.
So like those 5 beers definitely helped me not care as much about that.
Well, I quit drinking for I talked about it the other night at the show, but it's like I quit drinking for a year and a half, and that was also during the Beyonce thing, which so again also why I was on mushrooms, but
it's like California sober, but like
exactly.
Portland sober.
Yeah, exactly. I was Portland sober the whole time. But like that doesn't help me. The alcohol will help me, but then also I'll not stop by the end of the night, and who knows where I'll wind up. Yeah. So
it's tough. I mean, everything in extremes is bad. You know.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
But
especially drinking poison.
Yeah,
I mean, literally.
Literally.
How long have you been? Are you completely taking a break from it, or are you just kind of like?
I mean, we're gonna see. We might get an alcohol sponsor, so I might start again.
You try being a touring musician and it's just everywhere for free at all times.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what happened to me, honestly, is like, so when I worked a day job previously, I would host a writer's round twice a month.
Okay.
And so like at that writer's round, I had beer that I could drink while I was working, right? Yep. Which is never something I've ever done before.
Yeah.
Well, now we're hosting 10 to 13 events a month in town, plus all of my normal social life.
Yep.
So even if I just have a couple drinks at all of those, that's way too much.
Yep.
You know?
Not in Nashville's eyes.
Yeah. Well, Nashville, I always say this. Nashville is a town that wants to see you with a drink in your hand, but nobody wants to see you drunk.
That's true. That's actually, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's a hard line to do.
It is very hard.
Because it is a town of excess, you
Yes.
know, as we see with things like people hopefully falling in the river and, you know, getting kicked out of bars weekend in and weekend out. Like, this is a town of excess.
Yeah.
So being able to try to balance this town being that excessive roller coaster and it being okay for me while I'm working, you know, part of my job being okay drinking, like is definitely a challenge. Plus just the calories of it.
Oh man.
And the hangover, I'm old.
Dude.
And the money.
I mean, I took a break from drinking for no other reason than I needed to take a break.
Yeah.
And I lost like 30 pounds accidentally from it. And I drank a lot, but like I wasn't like waking up at 6 a.m., you know, slamming some Jack Daniels or anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Or something.
No, like, but you know, man, it's wild. It's nuts, but you know, it's all manageable. But I love the way you put that, because that is so true. And it's like, that was, I mean, it's definitely my problem with it is like, it's not stopping.
Yeah, and for me, it's like when I really think about like why I kind of quit, the reasons to stop were more than the reasons to keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is the most mature thing you could possibly do to think about. How long have you like taken a break?
I had 2 shots on New Year's.
All right.
And I had a half of a margarita of a drink that we were like talking to company-wise. So it's not like I'm not consuming alcohol at all. It's just like I historically have been a binge drinker.
Yeah.
Right.
Same. Yeah.
So it's like, it's not like I need one when I wake up or anything like that, but like usually I don't have one beer.
Yeah.
You know?
It's no fun.
Yeah.
At least for me.
So it's like, I'd rather have that calorie to eat that extra burger on the hamburger, you know?
I agree. I totally agree, man. And again, the other stuff, in my opinion, is I just have more fun.
Yeah.
And I remember what I said.
Yeah.
Which is the big thing for me.
Yeah. I think back on probably my 10 worst moments of my life.
Yeah.
And all 10 of them involve alcohol.
Man, I haven't done that one. I might not go home and do that one, honestly, because I'm in a good mental spot right now. Yeah. That's funny.
But
I
like
love that though.
And again,
I
like,
love that for you.
And I enjoy alcohol. It's one of my favorite things,
delicious.
honestly. Yeah.
Feels
but
good.
I'm just trying to find how I can have an extremely healthy relationship with it.
Yeah, man. I mean, at least from my experience, and again, I'm going to keep on many tangents today, but I feel like I was a little over a year and a half off of taking a break from myself, and I never gave myself a timeline or anything either. I just was like, I'm just pausing. And for me, it was just like the amount of time that went by that I was like, I can do this. And then I started like, not necessarily getting compliments from people about like my appearance or my voice or whatever it was, but just like the overall circle of people around me slightly changed. My well-being changed. Your mental state changes. Like that to me is where it's like it gets easier by the fact that you actually see stuff changing without you even have to really make an effort outside of just not drinking a little bit. And that to me where I was like, all right, man, like my voice sounds better than ever. Like my writing, I feel like is better than ever. I'm a better dad. I'm a better husband, better friend. You know, maybe not as fun at 2 a.m. because I'm not there anymore probably.
Right.
But like that's about the downside of it. You know, it's like figure it out. It is. So it's like I'm happy for you, man. That's awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah. And it's again like it's been a part of my identity for so long too. Yeah. So it's like a little weird for other people sometimes.
Yeah.
They're like, wait, so you're not drinking at all? And I was like, yeah, not right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Which like, the beauty of it again is you don't have to weed those people out, but you at least find the people who support you and you not doing so. You know, it's not that you don't have to hang out with them anymore, but it's like
Yeah, because you have some friends that are just
drinking buddies.
You red door, you want to do a shot friends.
Yeah.
But like Nick it's been months and months now, but our relationship hasn't changed at all.
For sure. Absolutely.
You know, it's like
and I have
hanging out and
I have a dear friend that we were straight up we worked together, but we were also drinking buddies at the same time. And our relationship, it hadn't dwindled, but it had, lost a little bit of the spark. And it got better after drinking, which is hilarious because, again, we were like really drinking buddies who did some work together.
Yeah.
And it got better because when I stopped drinking, because like we actually like connected again outside of something over alcohol, which is the funny thing about it all.
Your conversations with alcohol are different than conversations without.
And not good or bad. They're just different.
Just different.
Again, it's like for me, it just takes 99% of my edge off. So it's like my filter that I already don't have a great one of is just gone.
Yeah.
So which again, sometimes that's a good thing. A lot of times it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
It's like here we are.
I like drinking Nick. I think he's fun.
Same.
I'd like to meet drinking Nick sometime.
Yeah, you probably will. Yeah.
It's like it's yeah. And drinking Alex is pretty fun. He's pretty fun, but it's like it's when he stops. When I don't know when he needs to go home and he's like, nope, another 10 rounds.
Yeah.
That's when it's not so fun.
I've gotten
anymore.
better at that for sure in my old age now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like figuring out I'm like, okay, I don't think anything positive is going to happen from here on out. I'm going to go home.
Yeah. I still don't. I've dabbled back into drinking again and I've gotten good at controlling the situations when I can go home.
Yeah.
But like I'm not good at it still.
Yeah.
I'm still seeing that. I want to hang out and stay out till the sun goes up.
Yeah.
That's what it does.
And the hard part too is it's funny. Like my business partner Matt has been sober for 7 years.
Oh, nice.
So like oftentimes he would drive, and so he had a little problem with his car. So I drove this week, and I told him like I was planning on staying out after probably if people were going out. So he came with me, and then he was like, dude, an Uber home from here is $40.
What?
It was just a multiplier, And I was like, yeah, bro, if you wait like 20 minutes, it'll probably go down. I was like, but this is what I've been doing.
That's reality.
This is what I've been doing for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
When you hear me talk about like, I don't know, I probably can't do that. This is why.
That's wild.
The Uber is the way to save the $10,000 from the DUI.
It's true.
But if you're spending $40 every time you go out on top of the alcohol, it just gets really expensive.
And that's the one way home.
Yeah.
That's not even you getting there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
That's wild. I haven't even thought about that because I haven't not been drinking until I became the driver.
Yeah.
So it's like that's
it saves you financially if you look at how many times a week you were drinking and how many Ubers you were taking there and back, which is the correct thing to do, by the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
You got to do that, but it's like you just see how much money you're spending, not just on the physical alcohol, but on the things around it, and then probably making bad choices on eating sometimes.
Dude.
Yeah.
Especially
the 2 hamburgers instead of the one.
The cookout, man. The cookout.
The trays, bro. You're like, let me get that extra corn dog on there too.
It's just, man. And I'm a sucker for a milkshake at 2 a.m.
Yeah. Well, I still kind of am, but then I didn't have 1,000 calories before.
Exactly. That's just the milkshake.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So
man. That's awesome though, man. You're gonna crush it.
It's great. Any advice that you have from your 1.5 years off?
Go take a shot.
Yeah.
Do not do that.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, I will.
No, man. Honestly, no. I mean, like just as right now.
Yeah.
No, man. I mean, I think again, like I said, just like personally. Just knowing what you need, like again, like I didn't give myself a timeline or anything, and I felt like when I tried to drink again, I was ready, and I did fine. But I think for me, the best thing was just becoming aware of those, like I said, those people, that are like again, not you can't be friends with them, but like that are truly your core. That like aren't gonna be like, what? You're not gonna get a drink tonight? What do you mean? Like because that does happen, and that makes you feel like shit. And at least me, it does. And then you're like, well, they don't want to hang out with me because I'm not going to drink now. And then like that makes me insecure and goes on this whole rabbit hole. And so like that would be my thing, man. Is like just not letting that kind of stuff get to you because it's like you're doing something to not only better yourself but better everybody around you. Yeah. And again, that doesn't even mean quitting. That just if that means taking a break or whatever it is for you, or just learning where your guardrails are to stop. Yeah. Which I'm still trying to do. Yeah.
I think that's a important part of it too. Is like I always tell people, I'm like, everybody has a better time when I don't do shots. Yeah. Including me.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too is learning what to drink. Yeah. Like that's I'm still figuring that out. It's like there's a couple of times since I've stopped that I did take shots, and that was my point of no return. That I've learned no more of that. Yeah. Can't do it. Yeah. I can't do it. I can't just sit there and slam liquor drinks all night. Like that's not going to work for me. But I also don't love to just drink beer all day anymore. So it's like So what does that leave me? You know, not a whole lot.
Mushroom tea.
Mushroom tea. There you go.
I was gonna say, like, I've gotten into those Delta 9 drinks.
Oh, dude, they're great.
They're great.
Like the
high rises.
A high seltzer is a great one too. They're based out of Murfreesboro actually as well, which is cool.
They're great. And Kurt's like, do they mess you up? And I'm like, not like really. They just give you like a little vibe.
Off, you know, it just takes the edge off.
Yeah.
There's a few places around town now too that actually like bars and stuff that sell them, which is awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's typically 9 times out of 10 what I'm doing. If I'm going out,
Yeah.
I'll just get a little high or something and take the edge off, and then I'm fine.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. It's like I need the edge gone.
Yeah.
I always
It
have
helps.
edge.
Yeah.
And it just,
I think most people do.
I probably so.
Yeah.
Alcohol is just a thing that, you know, just shaves it right off.
Mm-hmm. And it the hard part is like when that's the only thing you have to shave it off.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's again, if it's you have a whole tool belt full of things that can shave that edge off.
Yeah.
Then you could have alcohol in that tool belt and it's not a problem.
Yep.
Right? But when it's the only thing, that's the hardest part.
But not to keep just harping on drinking and alcohol, but like I for a fact know it was October of 2022 when I started taking a break.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and if like weed and things like that were not as friendly as they are now, because like, you know, obviously it's been around forever, but like they haven't been as accessible as they are now. I either would not have taken a break from drinking or been able to do it as long, because like, you know, that kind of stuff, you know, I talked about it at the show the other night with the song that I played. It's like it runs very, very heavily in my family, and I'm aware of it. But I'm also aware that I need the edge taken off, and I can control certain other things. Like you said, that you got the tool belt, and I luckily am fortunate enough to be in a time where it's okay to be like, yeah, I went to Beyonce and I took a mushroom that night. That was fine. Or like I got a Delta 9 seltzer at the bar because guess what? It's legal there. That's awesome. So like I definitely am a firm believer that I would not have made it without it, which so that's a great thing, I think.
I agree.
For our society and our time to not have to do that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I definitely, you know, when I was touring with Michael Ray, like we were drinking a lot, and then I was like, I remember one year my New Year's resolution was to smoke more weed. You know? And then like, and I'm like, maybe this will, you know, like, because there's too much drinking, you know.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like bad, you know. But it was just like, you know, you're done with the show.
It's what you do.
Yeah. Especially when we're in the first of three. Yeah. Like, I'll have a drink and watch Brantley play or Darius or whoever. Man. And so then, you know, I started kind of just doing edibles instead, you know, after the show, and then going in my bunk and like watching chess videos and stuff like that. But
nerd.
It definitely, I think, you know, for a lot of people I know, they've kind of switched to the healthier version of it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure in 3 decades from now, it's going to come out and we're all going to grow like a 5th arm out of our head from it or something. Yeah. But like, I'm okay with that.
Or really we'll just have a button on our brain where we can take the edge off.
There you go.
You know?
Yeah, the dopamine button.
Dopamine button. Honestly, I would probably overdose on that one. Yeah. Overdose on dopamine. There we go.
That's the best drug there is.
We're always searching for it.
You guys can get it by exercising also and writing good songs.
There you go.
Yeah.
Honestly, playing guitar is great dopamine.
There you go.
It's great.
Listening guitar also.
True.
That's awesome, man.
Well, do you have anything else that you want to talk about? Anything coming up?
Man, just go listen to my record, please.
Yes, please. It's a great record.
Thank you very much. And new music to come. I think that's it, man. I think we covered it. This has been a blast because we've talked about everything I never get to talk about, and I love that.
Well,
awesome.
We love it too, man. We're thankful that you made the time to come out here to our luxurious now studio.
I love it. You guys are killing it. You're killing it.
Old Hickory, I don't know, wherever we are.
We're trying.
It said Old Hickory on one app, and then it said Mount Juliet on another.
Yeah.
So you're like, you can be like, and then Hermitage on one. So you can be all three.
We're darn close to all of them. You know?
You're in the great. You're in the pyramid of Nashville.
Yeah,
it's great.
But we appreciate you coming out, man.
Man.
And thank you for sharing your music with us and, of course, the world.
Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Be safe out on the road. Tell Cassie we said hey.
You as well, my man. Yeah, y'all have a great tour.
Make sure she doesn't turn you into taxidermy.
I can't promise that. That song's such a bop. It's so good. I literally just want to play guitar over all of her songs, which I did the other night. So that's awesome. Well, thank y'all for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Guys, if you like the podcast, make sure you follow Alex Hall all over his social medias. And as he said, stream his music. You can buy his album on iTunes and anywhere that you consume music. Well, I'm Nicky T.
I'm Kurt Ozan.
And we'll see you in the front row.